Well, hello everybody. Great to be here and really good to be getting started with our virtual classroom sessions. Before we get started, can you just drop me a little note into the questions section just saying whether you can hear me? I've had a few problems with the audio today, so if you can just either put your hand up, which is on your control panel, or drop me a little note into the question box saying, yes, I can hear you. That will be fantastic. And then I know that all is well. Yes, I can hear you, says Rob. Fantastic. Yeah, as you know, everybody, I have done a few more webinars now since I met some of you in my earlier webinars this year, but it's still relatively new technology for me, so forgive me if a few things go wrong. I've already found that I can either have a question box or I can have a screen that you can see, so I think I'm not going to worry about the screen to see you that you can see today, because there's not necessarily that much on there. So I am so pleased to be here with you guys, and well done for showing up on a Wednesday evening. How this is going to work is I will start us off with a little bit of a reflection, and I shall usually do that for every webinar. I will then open things up to you to ask me any questions that you have about the content of the course so far. And you can do that either by writing a question in the box if you're feeling shy. You can you can put your hand up and I will unmute you, and then we can have a chat. And if you can't make the webinar, you can send me your questions beforehand, and I will do my best to answer them. And if we run out of questions, I've got plenty of lovely content that we can go over and maybe give you some new stuff. But basically, we will have an hour together to work on our charity job career searches. So some other people have joined us now. Can those people, if you've just joined me, just put your hand up by looking for the little hand on the control panel, which means I can hear you, Katie. Or type me a little message saying, yes, I can hear you. And then I know that everyone's okay. Okay, well, I'm hoping, yep, great, thank you. Brilliant. I'm going to put everyone's hands down now, because when I ask you to put your hands up again, it will be to invite you to give me a question. So everyone's hands have gone down now. Sorry if this is ABC for you guys of webinars. I know some people on here probably haven't done one of these before. So welcome everybody. Well done for being here on Wednesday night. It's fantastic. You're all so dedicated and committed to where you want to get to, which is just great. So anytime you feel like making a comment or a question, drop it into your question box. So I would like to start by reading us all that fantastic piece of prose that I think I suggested you had a look at in the introductory email that I sent you. And I don't think everyone's managed to open that yet. So this may be familiar to you or it may not to be, but it's a really, really nice way to start off. And I feel that this is this absolutely, for me, sums up what we all need to be doing in order to be finding the kind of work that just makes us fly and helps us to contribute to the world. So just get yourself into a nice comfy position and put your feet flat on the ground. And I invite you for a few minutes just to close your eyes and just listen to these words. They're from a poem, a piece of prose, don't know quite what you'd call it, called Our Deepest Fear. Some people think it's by Nelson Mandela because there is some story that he said at his inauguration. It's not true, and I don't know how that's happened. It's by a woman called Marianne Williamson, and it's from a book called A Return to Love. And I see some other people have joined us now. If you just want to put your hand up to say, I can hear you, Katie, that would be fantastic. And some of you will know this. So we're just taking a minute. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I? To be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous. Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our fear, our presence automatically liberates others. Oh, isn't that just fabulous? It gives me goosebumps every time I read it. Just drop me a little note to say what you thought about that. I find that really inspiring, and personally, I try to read it every day, and I really encourage you guys to do the same. So that is how we will be starting most of our sessions, with a little bit of a reflection, just centering ourselves back into ourselves so that we, coming from a place of real creativity and openness and love instead of fear, which is where a lot of the gremlins that we've been talking about this week come from. So guys, this is your moment. Now, if anybody has a question to ask me live, you can write it into the box. If you put your hand up as well, I will see that you would quite like to talk to me live. If you don't want to put your hand up, just type the question in. Now, I have got some questions already from other people that have been sent beforehand. So if you're feeling shy, I can start with them. But I'm just going to keep quiet for a minute and see if anyone's got a question that they would like to ask about the course so far. Looks like everyone's being very shy. It is the first time we've met as a group. I think I can reassure everybody that nobody knows anyone else. You all come from completely different organisations. And as far as I know, nobody knows each other. So I think you can speak as freely as you wish, really. Now, some people are saying, I haven't got to module 2, I'm on question 3 on vision. Brilliant, that's fantastic. There is no such thing as falling behind in this course. Wherever you've got to is the best place to be. And I'm delighted that you've actually got there and you're working on it and you're committing to it, which is absolutely fantastic. Okay. What does that mean? Hard to work out what to do when not sure where to start. Lottie, can you just give me a little bit more of a heads up about what you mean there? Are you thinking about an action? Or you're going to talk to me? Okay, so I'm going to, not sure how to speak. I think I have to unmute you, and then I think you can just speak to me. Here goes. Oh, Lottie, can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
I can, not brilliantly.
Oh, that's probably my computer. Is that better?
Yeah, that is better. Brilliant.
No,
now you know how to speak.
hello.
Hello.
Hi, Katie. Hi, everyone. It was just, I've only done the module 1 because I'm being rubbish. It was just, I kind of started on question 1 and question 2 about what action did you take 3 years ago, where we had to kind of think about what we're going to do for our vision.
Yeah.
And basically, my vision was extremely unclear, and so it was very hard for me to 100% commit to what to do right now.
Yeah.
Basically.
Fair enough. Now, first of all, I'm going to go right back to the first sentence that you said when you talked to me, Lottie. What did you say to me? You said, I have been.
I can't remember what I said.
You said, you said I've been
Okay.
completely rubbish.
Oh, I see. Oh, okay.
Okay, is that a good way to speak to each other, everybody? To ourselves, rather. No. Okay, you haven't been rubbish, Lottie. You've had what? Lot to do?
Loads, yes.
Exactly. Okay, so I'd like to encourage Lottie and everybody else to speak to ourselves kindly, the way we would speak to a friend. You wouldn't say, you've been rubbish. So let's not speak to ourselves like that, because that's not going to serve you, that thinking, right? It just locks you down into a spiral of feeling you're not doing very well. You're doing beautifully.
Thanks, Katie. But
Do you need some help with what those questions, how you might answer those questions, or do you really?
yeah, I think
Sorry, go
great.
on.
Yeah, that would be great.
Okay, let me just find the questions. I've got so many pieces of paper around me. Here we go. Actually, you probably know them better than me. Here we go. So, the first question. What action did you take 3 years ago to get you where you are today? So, be as specific as you can. So, tell me what happened with the visualization then.
Talking to me?
Yeah.
Okay, well, hang on, I've got to dig it out.
Okay.
I have to dig out my paper. So the visualization was fine. It was just all a bit bleary, and I just thought, well, I'm not sure I want to work at all. Thanks.
Okay.
But anyway, it was fine. I had some nice ideas, and then number two. So I kind of went through about how I was feeling, and I could visualize it, and I wrote a few things down.
Right.
And then when it said, what action did you take 3 years ago? I mean, I could think of a couple of actions,
Okay.
basic ones like
You want to share those?
up towards well, more about where I want, because I'm looking outside London.
Okay.
So, in that case, Europe or somewhere else, but to look
Lottie, you're
for
really
jobs
fading a
elsewhere.
little bit. You're not very loud. I don't know if other people can hear you. Perhaps you could just jot down whether you can hear Lottie or not. Just keep going though for the time being, Lottie.
Okay. Well, anyway, no. So looking for jobs outside London, which is really the basic problem because most charity jobs are in London.
Okay.
And so that was fine. And so I thought, like, at least I can start looking outside London, which I already have started doing. But then it was when about 100% committing, I just thought that's an incredibly difficult question to respond to when, in fact, you're not quite sure what your vision is. So I felt that there was more need maybe to tighten one's vision, or I don't know whether we will be covering more on the vision later in the course or what. I guess that was my question.
Yeah, no, really, really good point. Really good point. And I've been saying to people doing this vision, whenever I do it with my one-to-one coaching clients and on this course as well, that vision is not a plan. Yeah, it's not even a goal. It's just some pictures, really, and some feelings. And you won't get the whole story when you first do that visualization, which is why what I really encourage you to do is to go back to it as much as you can and get yourself into a slightly open and receiving state again, and just put yourself back into that vision space and just see if there's anything else that comes up for you. If you're revisiting it every day, even just having a little look at the notes you wrote, you'll begin to get more and more ideas that you might throw in there. Does that sound like something that you can imagine happening, Lottie?
No, I think that's a really good idea to revisit it every day.
Yeah.
Does that mean revisit it as in look at the notes, or just to have another imagination session?
I think either, Lottie, whatever you feel motivated to do. If you're thinking in terms of what you ought to do, things get a bit of a drag, don't they? So, if you can say to yourself, well, I'm gonna do my best to have a couple of dreams on my bike as I'm cycling to work, and then I'll jot some notes down, and then maybe tomorrow I'll just read over what I've got. So it's a question of just keeping it really fresh in your mind, because the more you engage with it and the more it's there for you, the realer it becomes. You will get more detail into it, but also you start to own it, basically. And that is the really key thing with this, because what tends to happen is if you don't really buy it and own it and live it and dream it and think about it, you start kicking into, well, how am I going to do this? And at the moment, we're not worried about that. So the more you do of that, just embracing it as much as you can in any way you want, the better.
Brilliant. Thank you, Katie. And thank you everyone for the time on that.
No, don't worry. I think it's fine. Someone's dropped out actually because she says she can't hear. It's frustrating. It's going in and out, and she'll listen to the recording. So I hope that's not happening for other people. I'm definitely leaning quite closely into my microphone, and for next time I will work out a different way of doing things, I think, with the sound. So Lottie, you can have a little bit more time if you want, or you can come back in later with something.
No, that's really, Katie. No, that was fab. I mean, because that's as far as, I mean, that was the sort of, what other stuff is just a question of just getting on with it.
Okay.
But that was my, but thank you. That was great.
I'm going to put your hand down now because this is a general point, and then obviously you can put it back up again if you want. Or rather, I'm going to unmute you. Mute you, rather. So you're muted. Oh, good. Rob's saying he can hear Lottie fine. That's brilliant. Good. On the whole, I'm going to just assume everybody can hear, and if they can't, they'll have to tell me. Okay. So yeah, Lottie just made a point there about just getting on with it. And of course, if we could all do that would just be fab, wouldn't it? But one of the things we did talk about a little bit in that conversation with Lottie is about the need for regular action. So even if all you're spending is 3 minutes every day just having a look at that vision or reading over the most important thought that you think can serve you to get you where you want to go, that will help you. It's better to spend 3 minutes than no minutes. It's something I just really impress on you at the very beginning is this: if you can get yourself doing stuff regularly as a habit, that really serves you. So, has anyone else got any other questions? It's brilliant that there's so many of you on here today. Sometimes in the first sort of webinar like this, when people feel they haven't done enough work, they shouldn't come, they shouldn't be here. So it's great that you've turned up anyway, whether you've looked at the stuff or not. And there may be that you don't feel you've got any questions just yet because you haven't done enough. But please don't be shy. This is your chance. And you're only going to get it every 2 weeks. So go for it. I'm just going to wait for a couple of minutes to see what comes up. And then I'm going to go on to the questions that people have sent me. Okay, well, Amanda is in a totally different time zone from us, so she's not able to be with us today. But she sent me a question, so I'm going to answer it. And I can't talk to her because she's not here, but I think it's a very, very good question because I think there's a lot of things in it that people will find really useful in the answer. So the question is, I'm getting stuck with motivating myself on a day-to-day basis. Even though my heart is totally in this, the will is lacking. Now, we talked a little bit about strategies for getting things done, but I think this is a little bit broader, isn't it? Now, if anyone's got any ideas for Amanda they want to throw into the box as we're talking, that would be fantastic too. So if we're really talking about motivation, how do you motivate yourself day to day? Because it's difficult, isn't it? We're all of us busy. It's really hard to get focused on something that's a bit vague and fluffy, as Lottie was saying, and to be working towards something that we don't know very much about, and there's so much going on. Now, anyone who's got onto module 2 will have now met the gremlins. And what I would say to Amanda is this is the gremlins at work here, right? Remember the gremlin behaviors. So the gremlin is the the part of the little voice in your head that's saying, oh, I don't want you to progress, it's nice and safe here, or don't go there, that's too difficult. And one of the ways in which those feelings manifest themselves is in not getting on with things, procrastinating and not making progress. So, my first piece of advice to Amanda and to all of you is to acknowledge that that's where you're at. Yeah. So, no, I am rubbish. It's about acknowledging, yeah, thank you. Okay, I acknowledge, Gremlin, that you want to keep me safe. You don't want me to make these changes in my life because you want me to keep where I've been all these years. And once you can acknowledge the gremlin, you can say thank you very much, because what you're doing to me is you're saying, I know that I'm pushing through my comfort zone. It's like a gremlin alert. But you're telling the gremlin, I would like to keep moving forward. So the first thing I would definitely say is to repeat this about doing some regular actions, reading and building on the vision. So it's about your motivation fades when you don't take action. So taking a tiny little bit of action every day. So 5 minutes a day before you go to bed, before you wake up, keep reminding yourself of that vision. We've talked about this with Lottie's question. It keeps it alive and it stops that sensible voice that people say, oh, well, it's just realistic, right? It stops that voice from coming in all the time. Let me have a think. What else? Throw your ideas out as well. You all have as many ideas as I do, I'm quite sure. You know what else I think is a really good way to keep motivated on a dream and a vision that seems rather far away is to tell someone about it. So you can tell us. Share with the group what it is where it is that you'd like to go, what it is that you're fearful of, what might stop you from getting there. Making that kind of public-ish commitment is quite a good way to keep yourself motivated and keep yourself moving forward. It gives you a bit of a motive. You need a motive if you're going to be motivated. And the motive is almost, I need to be accountable to this person that I've told. And actually, accountability is a very, very powerful motive. So that can really help with moving forward. You might want to consider telling someone that you're close to. I mean, I have a pretty mixed feelings about this. And maybe you'd like to share with me and the rest of us what you guys think about this. I think it's great to share your vision and your dreams if you think you have a supportive ally. So anybody that is going to come in and say, oh my goodness me, what are you talking about? Or that sounds a bit pie in the sky, because you know it is. You know it's pie in the sky, and you know that it's only a dream and a vision at the moment, but you know you've got a plan for getting there. Angie, I've just seen that your hand's up. Do you want to just write down whether this is part of what's come up from where we're at the moment, or if this is a new question? Thank you very much. So tell us, tell a good friend. But if you don't think you've got someone who is going to encourage you 100% to get there, keep it quiet. Yeah? Because other people can be the worst gremlins. They are coming from their stuff. They're not coming from where you're at. And their advice and support and concern may be absolutely coming from a lovely place, but it doesn't always serve you to push through things that are challenging and difficult. So that would definitely be a piece of advice for Amanda about how to get herself motivated. So find someone to tell. Angie, I'm going to put you on mute. If you don't want to speak to me, just don't speak, okay? Otherwise, you can drop me a little line saying what your question is, and then I'll come back to the rest of the answer for Amanda. But I don't want, in case your question is to do with what I've just been talking about, okay? So I'm going to put you on unmute. Now, Angie, if you want to speak now.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
Hello.
So what I was saying.
Brilliant.
Hello.
Now you are a little bit faint as well, Angie. Can you put yourself as close to your microphone as you possibly can?
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you're going to have to speak up a
Is
wee
that
bit.
better?
Yeah, right. I've got a question
Is
for
that
you.
better?
Yeah, that's much better. Thank you. How
Okay,
about
so the question,
Sorry, go on. Go on.
so what I was going to suggest is maybe with that question is setting a time to the task,
Yeah.
which is not really feeling motivated about doing, and then adding a treat to it to almost encourage you to do some of it or all of it.
Yeah. That is genius, Angie. Both of those are really, really important. When you say setting a time, do you mean scheduling it into your diary, or do you mean working out
Yeah,
a length of time it's going to take you?
both.
Yeah,
Putting in the diary and adding a time frame to it,
yeah,
so you're almost committing to the task.
yeah.
It's in your diary, and you're hopefully more likely to follow through with the task.
You are so right. I mean, why do you think that helps? Why does it help you?
It helps to get me organized,
Hmm.
and if I don't schedule the time in, I'm going to keep on putting it off because I'm a bit like that person. I am struggling at the moment to motivate myself, and
Right.
so I almost need something to help me to, you know, go about it in the right way.
Yeah,
So that's why I do it. Yeah,
yeah. Well, you've given
and I
yourself.
and I sometimes I sorry, go
No,
ahead.
no, you go on.
Okay, and sometimes I do find that I'll put it in and I may not accomplish it because something else comes up, but I'll keep on putting it in until I actually get there with it. So that's what I've been doing.
Well done, Angie. That is absolutely the way to do it. You know me. I'm a huge fan of scheduling jobs in, and if they don't get done, just keep rubbing them out or whatever it is you're using to schedule and put it back in again. And what happens is it's almost like you're creating a date with yourself. Um, and by creating that date with yourself, you create a feeling of commitment to it. It's much, much harder. And there's something deeper going on as well. If I say, oh, I'll do that sometime on Saturday, you are massively less likely to do it, aren't you? Than if you say, I'll do that at 3 o'clock on Saturday. It's like the message to your brain is,
Yeah,
oh, this needs to be done at 3 o'clock on Saturday. Yeah. So these are great
yeah,
strategies.
yeah, exactly.
Adding the treat, love it, absolutely. And I was going to say that as in answer to Amanda's question. And obviously, you've got some of the same issues going on, and we all do. We've all got them. Um,
Yes.
yes, I don't know anyone who isn't doing some of this stuff. Yeah, the reward. Yeah, so the treat for having done the thing. Yeah, and obviously, the bigger
Yeah.
the task, the bigger the reward. So, what kind of treat, Angie, are you thinking of?
Chocolate.
Chocolate?
Yes.
Yep. Very good.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's a treat for me.
Yeah.
And sometimes just to do something over the weekend, just to treat myself to something, a new outfit sometimes,
Yeah.
because I feel so good that I've accomplished the task and I feel motivated. I thought, well, why not treat myself? If I don't, who's going to?
Yeah. Absolutely brilliant. The thing is to know what that treat is before, because sometimes it's really hard to to want to do the thing. It's hard to attach any kind of pleasure to it. But if you've got the reward, you're attaching pleasure to it. I think with this kind of work, there is pleasure in it, isn't it? Because isn't there? Because it is about making change and moving forwards. But it's still difficult when there's so much going on to think, oh God, I've got to do that module. So the more you can beef yourself up with knowing that you're going to get a reward, the better. And I'm actually thinking at the moment about how I'm going to reward all of you at some point for the work that you've done. And I need to let you know what that is, so you know it's a motivation. So Angie, shall I unmute you now, or rather mute
Mhm.
you again?
Yes,
Yeah, I'm going to take
yes,
your hand
please.
down, and I am.
Okay.
Oh, I'm struggling with all this technology. Here we go. I think I've turned you off now. There we go. So a couple of other things to add to the issue of motivation. Um, Two things really. One is about your affirmations, your positive statements. It's a really, really good way to motivate yourself to do things that you're struggling to get done. So has anyone managed to get themselves onto module 2 yet? Just drop me a line. There's no good or bad about any of this. Wherever you are is good. Module 2 is all about, okay, people saying they haven't got there. Yeah, I did realise actually that by having this midweek, it does mean you've got to get going a bit fast to be completely caught up. But I think actually by the time we get into the next modules, the next webinar, there'll be enough modules for a few things to have happened. That doesn't matter at all. So module 2 is all about creating the really positive mindset that we need in order to get through the hurdles, the gremlin voices. So it's about finding some statements that really serve you. So instead of things like, I am rubbish, we can say things like to ourselves like, I am learning to be really organized. The lovely thing about the word learning is your sensible brain doesn't kick in and go, oh, for goodness sake, you're not really organized. If I just said, I am organized, I would just go, oh, well, I'm not. But I am learning to be organized. I choose to be organized. Those kind of statements, much harder to reject. So I would encourage Amanda, I would encourage you, Angie, I would encourage all of you, even if you haven't got onto module 2 yet, to just come and see if you can come up with 2 or 3 really positive, affirming statements that you can begin to brainwash yourself with to motivate you to get some of this stuff done. If you sit down of a morning at your desk and look at everything you've got to do and just say to yourself, my day is going beautifully. My day is going beautifully. My day is going beautifully. You will find you are more likely to have a beautiful day because that's the intention that you're setting out there. So, depending on how many more questions there are, I might spend a little bit more time on this. We'll see what else people want to do in the session. Has anyone got any comments on that little section there? Because I want to also encourage you to eat that frog. Who knows about eating that frog? Is that familiar? Is it familiar to anyone? Just drop me a note. No, I don't know about the frog. Okay. Now this is where if we had our visuals, I would have a frog, but I haven't got them today, unfortunately. I was saying at the beginning that I hadn't managed to get that sorted out today. It was either the question box or the visuals, so we went for the question box. So it looks like people don't know about the frog. Okay, so Amanda, this is also for you. I think you might know about the frog. The whole thing with Eat That Frog, it's the name of a book, and I'm going to have a blank about who that is, but I will send you details of it in the next email. And the idea of it is that the first thing that you do every morning before you do anything else is you eat the nastiest, ugliest, most disgusting, horrible frog, which is a task that you've got. But when you have eaten that horrible, ugly, horrible frog, you feel absolutely great, and it motivates and propels you through the rest of the day. What most of us do is we go and we eat tadpoles at the beginning of the day. I think you all will know what I mean. Everybody checks their emails. We faff about, looking at our inboxes, cups of tea, chatter. But it's the emails that are the real tadpoles. And I really encourage people to leave those emails and eat a frog. Decide the night before, what is the job that if I did that first would give me the most bang for my buck? So Amanda, what you might like to do is to sit down the night before and say, okay, so what is the thing that I need to do on this course tomorrow first thing? What frog do I need to eat? And that's setting your intention And then once the frog's eaten, you feel so much better about yourself. I expect some of you are doing this already. How does that sound as a strategy? Anyone want to drop anything into the comment box? Actually, while you're doing that, I'm just going to get up and look on my bookshelf, and I will find the author of Eat That Frog. Hang on a sec. Okay, here he is. It's Brian Tracy, Tracy, Eat That Frog. And the subtitle is Get More of the Important Things Done Today. And what is so blissful and lovely about this book is it's 129 pages long. It's about a centimetre wide. You can read that in an evening. And it's a really, really fantastic little book that I would encourage you to read. So I will add that onto the book list on our little homepage in our private portal. I'll be really interested to see how you find that concept of the frog. So it'd be good to get some feedback on that later on. So, have I answered Amanda's question? I'm getting stuck with motivating myself on a day-to-day basis, even though my heart is in it, the will is lacking. So we've talked about acknowledging the gremlin, thanking him for showing up, but replying back, actually, I want to move forward. I recognise you are wanting to keep me safe, but I want to push through my comfort zone. We've talked about setting some regular time for building and reading the vision. We've talked about Angie's ideas of setting an actual time for doing something and how long you think it might take. That's a really, really good idea. We've talked about telling someone about it, creating a commitment by telling someone, and then you are accountable to them. We've talked about some positive affirming thoughts. We've talked about eating that frog. So I think probably we've done a fair bit on that question, Amanda. I hope it answers it for you. Obviously, you can, when you've listened to the recording, you can come back to the next session, ask for some more guidance on it. Has anyone else got any ideas that they would like to share on that one? Okay, so if anyone's got any questions, more questions they'd like to ask, put your hand up and I will make you go unmute, or you can type your question. If you don't want to talk, you can type your question in. I know it is hard at the beginning, isn't it, when you don't quite know what you don't know yet, so you're not sure what's a good question, but there really is no such thing as a bad question, I promise you. Okay, well, I think we've probably got time to do one of the questions that's come in from someone who's not here, and then if you do have other questions, there will be still time to do that. Right, I've got a few here. Let me just see what would be the most useful for other people. Oh, could you explain how to do the Wheel of Dreams again? I don't quite get it. Now, that person could go away and watch the video again, so I don't necessarily need to spend time on that. Can I just have a little heads up from the people on the call today now? Would it be useful for me to go over the Wheel of Dreams? Just say yes or no. You don't have to be polite. I think there's quite a bit of a delay on these comments that are coming in. I'm not getting any answers from anyone. You know what? I'm not going to do that because it's all there in the video. So unless someone's jumping to unless there's stuff that people really don't understand, I think I'm going to leave it with you guys here on the call right now. Go back to the video, stop and start it, and I think it's fairly self-explanatory. It's really just about getting a little bit more detail into that vision. I mean, actually, come to think of it, Lottie, I don't know if you've got that far, but that might be a really good thing for you to do now. I think you haven't got this far, have you? Because you said you were still on the vision. So it's the second part of the vision module, which is about creating, like the Wheel of Life, but instead of the Wheel of Life, it's the Wheel of Dreams. So it's a circle made up of segments of different aspects of your dream, of your vision, and then beginning to put in detail into each section. So yeah, Lottie, just makes me think, go back and do that. Go and do that now when you finish your vision stuff. But I'm not going to say any more about it because I think this question that's come in as well is actually going to be more helpful generally, because you can't have too much of this stuff. Could you help me turn some negative thoughts that I've got into more empowering ones? So the negative thoughts that she's got: I've never had a job I've enjoyed and I know I never will. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I think we can all get that. Yeah. Some decisions have been made in that statement, haven't they? And it's going to be a self-fulfilling prophecy. I know I never will. So what happens when we say to ourselves, I know this will happen, or I know that will happen? It's so much more likely to actually happen. So let's just remind ourselves of the way in which thoughts work. So even if you haven't done module 2, this is in module 2, but it's I'll just quickly go over it again now. So I have never had a job I've enjoyed and I never will. There's really two thoughts in there, aren't there? There's I've never had a job I've enjoyed and I never will. So that kind of thinking creates a feeling. So what kind of feeling does that create? I've never had a job I've enjoyed and I never will. The thought creates the feeling of, anybody wants to jot anything down, please do. Depression, sadness, feeling low, feeling passive. What else? Please join in, let me know what you think. I've never had a job I've enjoyed and I never will. Passivity, it makes you feel like you haven't got any control of anything. You feel bad about yourself. You would feel unhappy, I would say. So there's a direct link between those thoughts and the feelings that you have. The feelings that you have directly link with the actions that you take. So the feeling passive and sad and low and flat leads to actions that are coming from that space. So one doesn't apply for things because you think, oh, well, I'll never enjoy that anyway. You don't put effort into making changes because what's the point? You're not going to enjoy it anyway. So it begins to become a self-fulfilling prophecy. So the kind of actions that are taken then lead to the results. So what kind of results are going to come out of not putting in a good application because you're not going to enjoy it anyway, not finding the time to work on your dreams and your visions? Nothing's going to change, right? Nothing is going to change because you don't believe it will. So just to remind you, thoughts lead to feelings, which lead to actions, which lead to results. So let's help this person to find some more affirming statements that would serve her better. Help me out here. I will think of some. If you want to think of some too, please send them to me in the message box. Let's have a think. Yeah, because that certainly is not serving here at all. I've never had a job I've enjoyed, and I never will. Okay, so how about I deserve to have a job that I love. I choose to find the perfect job for me. Or let's reframe that thinking. Yes, it's true, I've not enjoyed the jobs I've had so far. And now I choose to love what I do. So did you hear there that we didn't have a but, right? No but. Yes, it's true, I've not enjoyed the jobs I've had so far, and now I choose to love what I do. When you put a but in, it's almost like you're rubbing out the first bit of the statement. So that acknowledgement that, yeah, it's been hard, I haven't enjoyed my work, gets a bit rubbed out. You don't get heard, you're not hearing yourself. Whereas by putting the and in, both of those are true. This was true, and now I'm going to have this approach. Anyone got any other ideas for that? Can you see how that new statement is going to serve her so much better? Something like, I deserve to have a job I love. If you say to yourself, I deserve to have a job I love, what kind of feelings does that bring up? For me, just saying it, I feel better. I feel more positive. I feel excited. I feel like I believe in myself. I feel good. I feel strong. I feel capable. I feel things are possible. Now, I notice that I'm not always answering that feelings question quite right. What we're looking for when we're talking about feelings is real feelings, right? Not I feel that. It's actually I feel sad. I feel confident. We're really trying to home in on the actual feeling. Sometimes I'm saying I feel that, or I feel like this could happen. And just notice you'll be doing the same thing. We're always doing it. But we're trying to get really honed in on the feelings. So she would feel more confident. She would feel more positive. She would feel more capable. So then what kind of actions would she feel more likely to take? She's more likely to volunteer for something where she gets some more experience in something that she really enjoys doing. She's more likely to take a chance on an application. She's more likely to really have a good think about what she's good at, because she's feeling confident. She feels she can do that. And then the results that you get are going to be so much more positive. She might get that job. Her confidence might start soaring. So this is a really, really important little, I can't think of the word. Is it mnemonic? I don't know what that word is. TFAR. Thoughts create feelings, create actions, lead to results. And that's why it's so important to have our positive, affirming statements. Now, there's a few more she's listed. I'm just having a little check of the time, and I just want to check in with you. We've got 10 more minutes. What you would like to do with that 10 minutes. I've got time for another question from one of you guys who's on the call, or I can carry on answering some questions that I've got. And there is one more quite interesting, rather disempowering thought that this person has sent me, and we could have a look at that as well. So I'm not hearing that anybody's desperate with a question. So I'm going to carry on and answer that one. So here's another disempowering thought. I know people don't think I'm good enough to be promoted. Okay, that's a really tough way to look at things, isn't it? That thought is going to lead to a very low feeling, a feeling of inadequacy, which leads to feeling you can't put yourself out there to be promoted. You're unconfident about speaking in a meeting, for instance. So the results you get is you continue to feel bad about yourself and not taking actions that are going to move you forward. Now, what I would say here about this one is don't give your power away to other people. You know, you cannot know what other people think, and you cannot worry about it. You have to focus on you, on yourself. So some statements like, I trust myself. I trust in myself. I believe in myself. And if that just feels, well, actually, I don't, there's a couple of strategies. I think I've mentioned some of them so far. I choose to believe in myself. That's a very, very powerful thing to say. I'm learning to trust myself. I'm not there yet, but I'm learning. I'm on that road. It's about setting that intention. I'm learning the skills I need to get on. And there's another really good phrase, which is I am becoming. I love this. I use it a lot. When I did this webinar, when I first did set up this e-course, I introduced the program to some of you, I think most of you actually, through my webinars, and I knew nothing about how to run a webinar. So I had all sorts of limiting beliefs, which are the same as these disempowering beliefs around technology. I can't do technology, I don't like it, I'll never get it, etc., etc. And you know what I found myself saying is I'm learning to love technology, but also I found even more powerful, I'm becoming really good with technology. And that, my goodness, it gives me the shivers just saying it now, actually. Just the idea that I'm challenging myself to try something that's always been difficult to me, very, very empowering. So I can't remember who sent me this question, why I keep saying she. I know it was a woman. I don't know. I know people don't think I'm good enough to be promoted. It's very disempowering. I am becoming, what would it be? I'm becoming more powerful. I'm becoming the person who wants to be promoted. That's not quite right. Oh, that's interesting. I'm not quite sure how to use that with that one. I choose to believe in myself. I'm learning to believe in myself. I'm learning the skills I need. I'm becoming sufficiently skilled to be promoted. That's quite good. So there's some ideas about how to turn some of these disempowering thoughts into empowering ones. And I really encourage you to take the time, if you can, every day to say 3 of the most powerful thoughts that you think will serve you to get towards your vision. Even if you don't know what that vision is, however vague and fluffy it is, there are some thoughts that will serve you to get there, and there are some thoughts that won't. My vision is getting clearer. That's nice. You said that to yourself every day. My vision is getting clearer. What I say to suggest you do is say it 10 times, 3 times a day. So if you're saying 3, you'd be saying 3 powerful statements 10 times, 3 times a day. And you are giving a very, very powerful message to your brain with that lot, that you want things to be different, and things are going to be different, and you are going to get what you want. So that's kind of not a bad place to wind things up a little bit. I just want to give you one more chance to just let me know if there's anything else that is you're not quite clear about from the modules so far, or any other questions. If you just want to just let me know where you're at right now, just before we say goodbye, that would be really good to know. And if anyone wants to put their hand up and actually speak, that would be great as well. So I'm just going to give you a minute to do that. Now, I have made a really beginner's error here. There's all sorts of lovely comments that I've missed. Right, I'm just going to take a second to look at these. Just give me a second. Oh, thank you, Angie. She's really happy with everything so far. Lottie said go ahead with the wheel, I think, but I missed that. Yeah, I did this last time. I don't seem to be able to keep a track of all the messages. Yeah, disempowered and defeated. Yeah, absolutely. So you've all been participating away and I've missed it and I'm very sorry about that. Okay, would it be possible to get the module earlier on Sunday? Yep, this week I can send it earlier. Sometimes I'm right up against it and I'm finishing it off at 5 to 11. When would you like it, Lottie? Is that because that's the day that you're kind of working on it? I don't know how to make sure I'm getting the very last of the comments here. Anyway, Lottie, just drop me an email and just say when you would really like to get it. If I can get them out earlier, I will, and you can certainly get it out earlier. I can certainly do it earlier this week. Great, it looks like this has been a useful hour. I've really, really enjoyed working with you guys. I'm so delighted that I've put this course together. I feel very pleased with myself, but also I'm getting nice feedback from people who seem to be enjoying it, seem to be getting a lot out of it, and I hope you will continue to do so. So, unless anybody has got anything else to say. Oh, don't know how to unmute. Are you trying to unmute, Lottie? It's me. You can't do the unmuting. Do you want to speak to me, Lottie? You're unmuted now. Oh, no.
No, I'm just going to say no pressure. It doesn't matter. It was just a quick question. It's not really a major deal at all.
No, okay.
So this, don't worry.
I think the little tech learning curve that I've been on has meant that I'm literally up against the wire because there's things I'm not sure how to do. So it's definitely been tight.
Well, don't take any pressure from me. It doesn't matter in the slightest.
No. Okay. If I can, I will. All right. 11 o'clock seems like a civilized time to start doing things. That's what I started with 11. But I'll do my best. All right, I'm going to mute you back again, Lottie.
Thanks, Katie.
Bye. I'm going to say goodbye to everyone. Great to talk to you. Really enjoyed myself tonight. I hope you have as well. I think I've recorded this and I have to work out how to get that recording to you and to the people that haven't been here, and I will do that. So I will see you all in 2 weeks' time. That is it the 25th? Let's just have a little look. It is, yeah, 25th of November at 8 o'clock. But feel free to email me on the email on the bottom of all your letters. Come over and join me on my Facebook page. It's not a private page, but obviously we can still be talking on there. Let's link on LinkedIn if we're not already, and let's talk on Twitter. So really good luck with everything. I'm so proud of you guys for taking yourselves seriously. You have so much to contribute to the world. I know it, and I love your commitment and dedication to finding out how you're best going to do that. Good night. See you soon.